could it be haste is making me? What's time at a thing that kill or keep a fire or lose or living? I gotta go faster, keep up the pace, just to stay in the human race. I could go supersonic, the problem's chronic. Tell me, does life exist beyond it? When I need to sate, I just accelerate into oblivion. Into oblivion.
Savoir-faire is everywhere! Welcome to another episode of Record Breakers. I am Petey Rave here with you again to be your man with no plan. With me, as always, are none other than Brett.
Entrez-vous, all of yous.
Drew.
Yeehaw!
And Patrick.
I'm gonna put down the cocaine now.
Of course, we are gathered once again to discuss music, like we always do. This week, the provider of the music is none other than me. We're going to talk about something really interesting. An indie group, a little indie rock group out of the Republic of Korea, otherwise known as South Korea by most people. They're based out of Seoul. They kind of are a group that cut their teeth in the Hongdae live music, live club scene. Kind of mixes a really cool set of styles, and is a band that used to be a skate punk band named Screw Attack before losing their drummer and then reforming and renaming themselves Love Exterior. And we're going to be talking about 3 EPs of theirs. Because they haven't released a full-length album, so I'm going to pretend that these collections of songs is their full-length album. And the 3 EPs are Buzzin, Off the Grid, and Glow, in that order. It's going to be interesting to see what you guys think of this. I guess I'll start with Drew. Did you have any expectations coming into this album or this collection?
A little. You and the friend of the show, Brandon Cooper, are fans of the Korean pop music, and most of what I hear out of the Korean pop music is very reminiscent of, should I say like late 90s, early aughts, early
2000s,
yeah. Yeah, like, and that's usually what, because you said you introduced them as like a Korean sort of pop group. So I was expecting that sort of pop music. And we can go into what I actually got later on.
So, Patrick, what expectations did you have coming into this collection of music?
I had no idea what I was getting into. You told it to me as being sort of Korean indie rock. And it is Korean, and it is a bit indie rock.
Mm-hmm. Brett, did you have any expectations coming into this collection of music?
No. No, I did not. I had no clue what I was going to get myself into, so no, I had no idea.
Yeah. It's a very cool group, and it's very indie rock music group. They are definitely not what your typical K-pop, what people expect from Korea, what is known globally from Korea. They're what is actually like festering underground and kind of growing there, specifically in Hongdae. There's a really cool scene there, a live venue scene. There's a bunch of crazy, cool live venues and a bunch of really cool bands that are making music there, making indie music, making rock music, making all kinds of genres of music. And specifically Love Exterior, and I'll describe the themes and elements. They kind of give you a really cool little mix of, electronic mixed with like 80s and 90s pop and indie rock, and, so a little bit of, alternative music, and you feel it in different ways throughout the different EPs, and you see a lot of influences from like groups like Blur, a little bit of Radiohead, some 80s, synth pop, things like that, and it kind of mixes really well, and it's something that I think flows very well together. I'll go with, Patrick, what were the themes and elements that stood out for you?
So when I get new music like that I have not heard before, I end up inevitably comparing it or trying to find something in my wheelhouse that it is similar to, because I have this musical taste of a schizophrenic. It's kind of everywhere. It's not that I like everything, it's that I just like things from everywhere. And this was sort of like a very, very happy, dancey version of Shiny Toy Guns. If anyone in the room has ever listened to them. It was sort of the same sort of electronic rock where like it's there's a guitar and there's drums, but there's a lot of like synthy electric stuff in it, and it's kind of dancey. And this had that, and that I think to me was the vibe I got out of it. It's sort of dancey and kind of pop rocky and tinges of indie rock in there. Like some of the guitar parts reminded me of other things, but it was kind of indie dance poppy stuff.
Brett, what were the elements and themes that stood out for you? What stood out for you musically?
It's a really good callback to 90s rock. You know, one, it has that throwback sort of structure to the songs, and two, it has like the lyrics and room echo that tie it all together. It's fun. It's enjoyable. You know, it's like 90s rock with way better production. And things sound a lot tighter than the 90s bands that they you could tell that they drew from. And with the female vocals, the range was pretty good. It wasn't all just, you know, droning or overly high or raspy girl voice. It was really like a nice range of vocals. Yeah, those are the themes and the elements I dug.
Yeah. Drew, how about you? What stood out for you musically?
For me, it was really weird going into this because, like everybody said, this feels very 90s. This like very early 90s, very early mid 90s, and it feels like that sort of like what you got from if you mix like that era of say the EDM sort of side of things with the alt rock sort of side of things, you would get this sort of band. It was really fun to listen to. I ended up really enjoying myself, which I didn't expect out of this. Like, because I don't know why. I just was not. Again, second week in a row, I went into something with expectations kind of blown. I think I told Swagger at one point that I had listened to all of the records, save a few songs, which we will get into later. But I listened to all of the records, or the 3 EPs, probably 3 or 4 times within the first 2 days that I had them. They really sort of hit me in a weird, like, this is fun, and this is happy, and I drove out to Canton, Ohio, just listening to this music and dancing in my own little Korean hole of a car in Ohio, and it was weird.
Yes. Yeah, it is definitely what I think that you guys pretty much nailed it on the head. It's very evocative of the 90s, of that, what's happened there techno-wise. You know, there's like the rave music, and you hear it in a couple of the tracks, specifically in Storm, where you can hear that the whole like the bridge of that has that very classic ravey synth line that you remember from back in the day.
But it's simple. It's very, very simple. There is nothing there that's like they aren't turning new leaves. They are very, very much a product of what they like, and that's not a bad thing. It's tight, it's simple, it's efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, there's something to be said about it's of that era. Like, you can hear the definite 90s alt rock influence in it, yet it's better produced, and sometimes that can be a ticket to victory.
Yes. And of course, like once again, we get into like the tracks. Some of the like my favorite songs that I always go back to include Soul City, aka Soul City. Very much a song that they lyrically and I think musically, they wanted to give an idea of what it was like to live in the capital city of the rock of the ROK, known as Sode. The kind of their feelings on it, very honest, both negative and positive. Other cool songs like Chain Reaction, another long song, but a very cool style to it. Like I said, Storm has a very strong energy to it, like a storm.
Storm was the moment I was like, this sounds like a Shiny Toy Guns song,
yes.
like in a good way, in a really good way. Like it is really fun dance pop.
Yeah, and even songs like Fly Over, which has a very cool feel to it. Very cool, like a little positive love song, and then of course
Hey, you're dodging the high point, Petey.
And
like
of course
here's the crescendo build up.
The song like Free Ass.
That's correct. So,
Free Ass. I was getting there.
Take
I was
my money.
Getting there.
Here you go. That's great.
Yes, a song like Free Ass with the chorus of I want to have sex with an American.
Hey, you know what? I think we can all relate to that song in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
I'm an American.
Yes.
I am a real American.
So Brett, take it from here. Some of your songs, I imagine, Free Ass.
Oh no! I am going all of these songs. Don't care. Free Ass. that song. That song is like it is the most 90s. Like I have this hook and this one line I'm going to repeat over and over and over, but I'm going to do it correctly. Like this is not a
very garbage.
There is not a whole lot there. Yes, it is garbage. Like as in, like not
the band, not actual garbage.
Capital G.
I like the really let's just crank up the tremolo on the amp guitar line.
Gangly as hell.
Yeah, and it's like way trimmed out, and it's really It's lyrically it's a song about somebody wants to bang Americans.
Yeah.
I hold with that, bub. I hold with it.
Yes.
I do.
I'm gonna put it out there again. Yes. I'm an American. Yeehaw! Just putting it out there.
Patrick, go ahead and take the reins. What are some of the tracks that grabbed you, that stood out for you?
I 100% agree with you on Soul City because it reminds me of the Iron and Wine cover of Such Great Heights. Like the guitars are that almost same exact tone and sort of sound, and it's really catchy.
Yeah.
And there was the one thing throughout this that I didn't love was I didn't love the drums on it. They felt programmed even if some of them weren't.
Yeah.
And I get that they don't. I think they are an interesting drummer away from being something I would really like.
Yeah, the tough part is their origin story comes from their band losing their drummer and then going like
there's got to be, I don't know, 8-9 like drummers in South Korea looking for a job right now who would play. Yeah,
and they have them, and they perform with them, but they kind of went into it with the creative force of just the three people.
And that's cool.
So kind of like Spinal Tap, the drummers keep exploding, and they really don't care. It's just a drummer, you know.
Yeah, more or less.
Fancy metronome.
Yes,
fancy metronome.
That's kind of their approach. They just kind of got being abandoned by a physician. Kind of does that to you. Let's go with Drew. What were some of? Oh, go ahead, Patrick. Sorry.
I was gonna say the beginning of Glow, Lose to Win. I really liked. Mm-hmm. Like the guitars and drums sometimes are either the guitar's a little too out in front for me or a little too behind, and the drums are way too recessed for me. But I like the song, and it's fun.
Yeah, I liked it. And lyrically is really good because it's just like this really little upper. It's like
the lack of English is noteworthy too. Like the enunciation is very nice. Like you could have told me that it was recorded by some dude in Iowa.
Yeah.
And like with his buddies.
Mm-hmm. Except they would all wear masks.
Yes.
Even on like the talk singing like lyrics, you couldn't hint at an accent, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah. I agree with Brett that I listened to it and I was like, I had to double check if it was the right band.
Yeah, you're like, where's it coming? Where's the like the R's and L's getting all mixed up? Like, where's it coming? Doesn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. I mean, if you really
She wants to
wanted
have
to
sex with the
nitpick,
Pelicans.
yeah.
And back to having sex with Americans. I am friends with a lot of Canadians, but I just like to say "suck it, Slaughters." You know, when it comes to nobody writes song. I want to have sex with Canadians in Newfoundland. You know,
No.
they don't do that.
Yes.
They don't.
They don't.
American.
Drew, what would be some of the songs that stood out for you? What are some of your favorite songs?
Okay, the songs that stood out to me, everyone's touched on them, I think. Soul City, it's a super awesome, like, driving song to me. Like, it's one of those ones where you drive with the windows up, sort of thing. Like, I would drive with the windows up, like, and sing it to myself very loudly.
Yes.
You're doing
Lose
it
to
wrong,
Win.
Drew. Put the windows down. Be a man. Be a man, Hogan.
I put the windows down when I need to pump my fist. Not when I'm singing terribly. Let me see what else. Lose to Win was really, really cool. I liked the sort of like overdriven bass line of Secrets. I dig that sort of thing in this sort of music. The thing I didn't dig though, and when I said that I skipped over some of it when listening to it, I didn't really need the remixes. Am I the only one here? Like,
the
remixes just sort of felt flat.
Yeah, they were just kind of there. I mean, I'm okay with them, but I kind of I was planning on ignoring them, and basically, they're there. Yeah, it's like that's why I kept saying it's like we have these 3 EPs with like 2 or 3 songs on them, not one with 6 songs. Just as like
not one with 6 songs, and 3 of them are remixes. I mean, the people that did the remixes did cool things with the remixes. Don't get me wrong. I really thought their strength lied within the actual band. I think their tracks can stand on their own. They don't need to do the remixes. When they come out with a full length, if they ever hear this, cut it out. Just give us you.
Yeah. I think
come on.
Yeah. I think it's cool to have there and have it exist as a project that happened, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a feature in amongst the music.
Right.
Yeah.
I will give you that. Yes.
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 Cut it out.
But yeah, it's
Thank
just
you,
some
Joey.
fantastic tracks. Those tracks, like you said, the Soul City. If you ever want to have like the perfect soundtrack to a bus ride staring out the window, Soul City. Like, just sit there, put Soul City. You'll feel like you're in like some kind of movie directed by Zach Braff. You know, it's just exactly like that. You'll feel like,
damn. God, oh God, you just hit it on the fucking nose, Petey.
Yeah, it's just the
Garden
perfect
State now.
Yeah, it's just the perfect soundtrack to just sitting in the bus contemplating things about your life, or your arugula farm and your relationship, and and all those kind of things. Yeah, it's just some fantastic tracks. And the song like "Fly Over," I know it was an interesting moment when you first was trying to share it with you guys. Drew, you had listened to "Fly Over" first. And you said, "Well, I have a lot of things to say about this because of this first track." Could you elucidate on your mentality at that precise moment?
My mentality was exactly what I said at the beginning, which was you sort of, when you first presented that, hey, this is coming up, and this is this Korean sort of pop group. Like, I had one thing in my head, and then I heard this, and I was like, oh, this is going to be super alt 90s.
Yes.
Like, this is going to, okay, we're going to get into a whole, and that was sort of my thing, was like, oh, we're going to dive into a different era.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I can dig that. I can dig your blurs of the world, if that were the case.
Yeah. All right, so let's go kind of bring it back around the horn. Brett, what would you say would be your conclusions about this overall album, these music selections overall?
Listen to them. How's that? Pretty simple. listen to them. If you were around when it happened, or if you listened to alternative rock radio, you will find something and enjoyed it. You will find something in this album to enjoy. It's it's not going to change your life. It's not like we're not going to make statues to these EPs, but it's a good time. You can put it on the back, and it's quality that I was not expecting.
Mm-hmm. Drew, what would be your conclusions about these selections overall?
I would second the this band very much deserves to be listened to. No matter what your background, to me, even if you weren't a '90s kid, there's something to them that's just really, really cool. I think that what they do with that '90s influence is really cool. And like you said, there's nothing earth-shattering. There's nothing that's super, super, like, revolutionary. But there's a refinement. And in everything, when you tighten the screws, there's something to be excited about. And
this album is not going to make us debate drummers, compare and contrast drummers on progressive rock bands. It's not going to talk. We're not going to talk about different kinds of keyboards or it's not that kind of album, and I love it because of that.
They can play this through Ibanez's and Squires all day, and it's not going to make a difference. It's a refinement, and it's a tweaking, and this is tight alt rock music. It's name a tight alternative band that never got the chance to have high fidelity recordings, and go listen to Love X Stereo, because you'll get that.
Patrick, do you echo those sentiments?
I think they're fun, is I think the way I would describe it. And I think that probably gets along what Brett was saying, and that we're not arguing about drummers and stuff. It's fun, and I feel like the songs are good. I don't love the way they're constructed, at least in terms of purely just levels of instruments, but that's like a tiny nitpick to what is otherwise really enjoyable music.
That's something that could be fixed once they go.
Yeah, that's something that I think I will genuinely, when you inevitably tell us all that their first full length comes out, that they sat down and recorded in a proper studio and had some time and hopefully a little bit of money to do it. I'll listen to it because I'm curious, because I feel like this is they could very well be a diamond in the rough. There's definitely some polish left to go to make them great, but there's something really compelling about them that I can't quite put my finger on.
Yeah. They're a really cool, fantastic band that I think are just right on the cusp of being there. I was just, I couldn't wait for the full length to be able to come on, bring them on the show, just because I am really anticipating what they're going to do going forward. They have a lot of potential. They have the potential to have a really cool avenue. There's a thing that I was talking about on Hallyu-Juku, my other podcast, where I talk about the K-pop and whatnot with one Brandon Cooper, aka King Kaz. And one of the things that is often a thing that comes up is the potential of a group to break it into the Western market or the American market. And really, at the end of the day, no K-pop group is probably going to make it. Wonder Girls did it and ended their group. Girls' Generation tried to. They were on Letterman once. Nobody know. You all can't name who Girls' Generation are at all. 21 was on The Bachelor. That didn't do anything. But because they're just K-pop groups. They're just pop groups. They're just this oh cool, this pop groups. And a lot of it is a derivative of what it already exists here. A group like Love X Stereo, or even groups like Glenn Check or Harry Big Button or Rock and Roll Radio, or any of these cool groups, they have a unique enough avenue with the music that they make and how well they make it to maybe break out a little worldwide wise. Because Americans, we mess with some foreign indie. Like, we may not be digging into pop music of another country, except for maybe One Direction or Justin Bieber, but we will mess with some foreign indie music.
And the Scorpions.
Yes, the Scorpions.
Do
And
we
I
really
think,
have to bring up the Scorpions?
and on top of that, K-pop groups occasionally come to the States and maybe play New York and LA, maybe a couple other places. Love X Stereo is currently on their second U.S. tour. They toured last year. They hit, Detroit, New York, Toronto. They hit, which is not in the U.S., but North American tour.
I was going to bring that up, but yes.
They played San Francisco. They're going to be in. They were timeline wise in Pontiac on not too long ago in Pontiac, Michigan. They're going to be around the country, touring the country when K-pop groups wishes they could break into the market. So I think they're a really cool group that I have a lot of potential to cross over as an indie group, and I really dig them, and they're really cool, and they follow me on Twitter. So. Yay. All right, so we now
wait, they follow you on Twitter. Wait. If they follow you on Twitter, they might actually listen to this. I'd like to remind them. Hi, I'm American.
I will guarantee I will certify him as American.
I'm looking forward to the moment of maybe Toby showing up here. The guitarist showing up to your door, like, "Hey, how you doing? I love you, Toby. You rock."
Drew's gonna be soul brothers with the bass player. That's what's gonna happen. That's how it works.
Soul. Yes. All right. Now, main event of the evening. Haiku review. We do the haiku review every week, and I'm looking forward to hearing what y'all say. I'm gonna start with Drew. Drew, what is your haiku?
Korean band with some 90s influence and beautiful vocals.
Mm-hmm. Patrick, what is your haiku review?
Electronic fun with solid guitars throughout. Pretty alright stuff.
All right. Brett, what is your haiku?
Jangly jangle. Echoey echoria. Not at all awful.
Mm-hmm. Mine's, of course, is have mine. Refreshingly indie, a good mix of pop and rock. You can dance to it.
I'll
yes,
put on my red shoes and dance the blues.
Yes. Of course.
Angels want to wear my red shoes.
Of course. That was for this week. If you want to listen to this or any of our music, though I don't believe this is on the music streaming services, but if you want to listen along, we are on the music streaming services. Mog, while they still exist. Spotify, Beats Music. Tell us where else you want us to be on or maintain a playlist on, and we will do that such thing. All right, so on that playlist, chances are will be next week's pick, and next week's pick is brought to us by none other than Patrick. What do we have next time?
So, just because it's an album I've loved since it came out, and because Slaughters wants it, Bare Naked Ladies Stunt.
It's going to be a fascinating discussion, nonetheless. Absolutely. All right. We are all over the internet. You can find us all over the internet. Patrick is at The Swagger. Brett is at Hibbity Bibbard, HIBBITYBIBBARD. Drew is at XDrewCipherX. I am at PD Rave. The show is at 4 Record Breakers. That's the number 4 Record Breakers. You can follow the website, recordbreakerspodcast.com, rebelli.net for all the podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher. Follow, subscribe, do all the things. Until next time, hasta los huevos.
Rock over London, rock on Chicago. Diet Pepsi. Uh-huh.
That just happened.